So no longer do we need a y-intercept. All we need is any points on that line. So if you're given 1 point on the line and you know the slope, you can fill out point slope to write the equation of the line. All right, so the first example is just using the form to identify two things here. We're going to look at the equation over there, and we're going to take out the slope value, and we're able to also see a point on the line. The easiest part to see is the slope. So remember, we see our slope m is on the outside of this quantity. So we see that number in this example is right there, 3. So our slope is 3. Now the trickier part is taking out the coordinates. So in math we use these minus signs to represent opposites. So when we go down here to read this here, it says -1, but the actual value is the opposite of what we see. What's the opposite of what we see there? 1. So the given coordinates, the points given to us in the equation, the first thing is 1, the x value is 1. And then over here with this y is the other y value. So again, the opposite is 7, positive 7. So again, the slope was 3. We saw that right there in the equation. And then we take the opposite numbers out for x and for y. So again, when you read these 6 words, write the equation of a line. Think immediately, set up point slope. Okay, so we're going to have y minus a given y value equals the slope on the outside there times x minus a given x value. Notice I set it up empty first. Okay, if you do this, you won't lose negatives. Okay, those are part of the form. They have to be there. So now we're going to fill in our missing parts. So the first thing we want to fill in is our slope. Slope of 2/5. That's going to go on the outside right there. 2/5. Now the tricky one here is our given coordinates is 10, -8. 10 is the first thing there. That's our x1. This is our y1. Okay. So remember, y's go with y's and x's go with x's. So I'm going to put this -8 right here. So it becomes y minus -8. We'll take care of that in a second. The other part of it is our x value. We're given the x value here of 10. That's going to go inside with our x right there. So when it says write the equation of a line and they don't tell us a certain form, all we have to do now is just simplify our double negatives. We have a double negative right there. So that becomes positive. So change that to a plus. So our final answer will be y plus 8 equals 2/5 of x minus 10. And that's the equation of a line in point slope form. All right, next example. Again, we read, write the equation of a line. Remember to set up point slope. So we're going to have y minus the given y value equals slope times x minus the given x value. Always set it up empty and then fill in the missing parts. First thing we see here is slope -2. That will always go on the outside of that quantity there. The given x value is 3. So we put that inside with our x. X goes with x. And the given y value is -3. That goes with the y over here. So again, we have another double negative to turn into a positive when we simplify it. So y plus 3 equals -2 times x minus 3. All right, we have one more question here. It says, what is the y-intercept? Well, what is it? Is it any of these values up here? No, because point slope form does not show us the y-intercept. That's the only drawback with point slope. It doesn't tell us the y-intercept. Okay, but we do have another form that does tell us the y-intercept. What is it? Slope-intercept. So when we're asking for the y-intercept, You'll start in this form, set it up, but you might have to convert it to see the y-intercept. So we're going to do that. We're going to convert to slope intercept, where it's y equals mx plus b. So remember, all we have to do here is solve for y. Okay, we're going to get the y by itself. All right, so 2 steps away. That's it, just 2 steps. First thing we do is distribute. Okay, that will give us negative 2x plus 6. Still have the y plus 3 there. Our last thing to do to get y by itself is to subtract 3 from both sides. So now we'll have the equation. I'm going to move it up here. Y equals x plus 3. Now we can see our y-intercept. Our y-intercept is the plus 3 part there. Okay, so the y-intercept of this equation, this line, is 0, 3. All right, again, I'm going to say over and over again, write the equation of a line means good, set up, point, slope. So we're going to have y minus the given y value equals the slope times x minus the given x value. So our slope here is negative 3/5. So negative 3/5 is on the outside there. And then what's weird is our given coordinates. They don't tell us the numbers here. They got tricky, and they just showed us that it's the origin. What's the coordinate of the origin? 0, 0. Okay, so then we put in 0 for y, 0 for x. That right there is the point slope version of the equation. But we want the slope intercept. So simplify and solve for y. So when we do that, that 0 goes away to just be y equals. We distribute the negative 3/5. And anything times 0 goes away as well. So there's our final answer in slope-intercept form. Right, so again, we're looking at writing the equation of a line. Okay, and we're looking at not a slope given to us here. So we're going to have to find that first. So when we're not given the slope, we'll have to calculate or find it. So step 1 here is find the slope. Okay, if it's not given to you, you're going to have to do something else to find it. So you use a slope formula, or you could remember it's just the change of y over the change of x. So we could stack these coordinates and find that change. So negative 2, 3. So how is it changing from 1 to 3? Adding 2. So 2 on top. How do you get from 2 to negative 2? You subtract 4 to get from a positive 2 to a negative 2. So 2 over negative 4 will be what slope? Negative 1/2. So there's our slope. Okay, now do we have enough information to build the point slope? Yes. So the next step, step 2, is set up point slope. Set up point slope now. So that was our step 1. We found the slope. And now we're going to set up point slope. So again, y minus the given y value equals the slope. Well, we got that one. Negative 1/2 times x minus the given x value. Now you have 2 coordinates to choose from. So make sure you choose a pair together. Like if you chose this 3 for this y, make sure you use that x with it. Don't pick and choose from both. Just use one of them. Which one looks easier to work with though? Negative 2, 3 or 2, 1? 2, 1. Good choice. So we're going to use 2, 1 for our given x and given y. So what's my given y value there? 1. Again, that's the y. It's going to go for the y. What's the x? 2. That's going to go with my x. Okay, remember, x goes with x, y goes with y. All right, and there's our point slope. Now, the problem just says write the equation of a line. Does not tell us what form to keep it in. So we could stop there if that was the instructions. Okay, but let's practice converting it one more time. So a third step, if required or desired, you can convert to another form. Right now, we only know two forms. Point slope, which we have right now written down, but the other form we know is slope intercept. Okay, we know slope intercept tells us the y-intercept, so it'll be very helpful to convert it to that form. Okay, so when we do that, we're getting the y by itself. When you're in point slope, you're actually only 2 steps away from slope intercept. Just 2 steps, that's it. The first step is to distribute that slope. So we would have y minus 1 stays there, negative 1/2 of x on that first distribution, and then negative half of negative 2 is just positive 1. It's just positive 1. Our last step now is to get the y by itself by adding 1 to both sides. So when I add 1 to both sides, I'll have y equals negative half x plus 2. Now, what can we see? We now can see the y-intercept is 2. Okay, we're up here. It does not show us at all what the y-intercept is. This form does not show us, but this does. All right, so we're looking to fill out the rest of the point slope here. If it helps, write it underneath. Y minus y1 equals my slope times x minus x1. So look what they did. They have 2 right there for y1. So up here, which one of these are they using? Are they using the first coordinate or the second coordinate? The first one. Because remember, the negative is already there. So that is that one. Whoops. Okay. Another way to think about it is look at what's given. Take the opposite out. The opposite would be positive 2 right there. Positive 2. Okay. So now we can fill in the x part of our equation. It's going to be x minus negative 4 because they're using that coordinate. Okay, but what about the slope? It doesn't tell us the slope, so we'll have to stack and find the delta y over delta x. Let's go ahead and do that. So negative 4, 2. How do you get from negative 2 to positive 2? Add 4. How do you get from 8 to negative 4? So minus 12. So our slope will be 4 over negative 12, which is negative 1/3. Negative 1/3. So now we can fill out the rest. Negative 1/3 for our slope. And we have the double negative there, so that should become what? A positive. Let me go ahead and erase that and make it a positive. And there is our point slope form filled out. All right, so again, first thing on this one, let's find the slope first. Let's stack these coordinates and find the slope. So 5 and negative 3. How do you get from negative 5 to negative 3? You add 2. How do you get from 1 to 5? You add 4. So my slope 2 over 4 is 1/2. So there's my slope. So we know 1/2 goes there. And now we got to figure out the x parts. X minus something. How we get that? We're going to look over here at what y value they chose. The y value they chose was the opposite of what we see there. Negative 5. Okay? So go up here, find negative 5. That's that coordinate there. We have to use its paired x value. So we have to use that 1. So that 1 goes inside, and that's our answer. Don't simplify it. Don't convert it unless they ask you to. May the math be with you.